What's up, people? I want to give a quick I want to try to help someone. People who are feel like they're on the fence or they feel like they are sliding away from God. I want to try to help somebody understand why so many Christians and you're seeing so many preachers and pastors and stuff where they are sliding away from God. Um, I watched something a while ago, and it was about North and South Korea. And they had they were showing, this was years ago, like 20 years ago probably, and they were showing these like a fence that was dividing North and South Korea. And on that fence, they would have people who would on that fence they would have two guards on either side, and the guards that's on the two soldiers on the North Korea side, they will face each other, and the two on South Korea side, they will face each other. They never took the time to notice the person on the opposite side, and they was looking at each other to hold each other accountable to make sure that. But the thing about it is that if one of those soldiers coughed, the opposite side would still hear it. If they sneezed, the opposite side would hear it. If they talked, if they made a plot against the opposite side could hear it because they was always in earshot of each other. They was always next to each other. Now, here's the thing about Christian life and Christian walk. Many Christians we want to walk that border. We want to, instead of focusing on all the grace and the glory and the precious gifts of God, many Christians walk that border. But the problem when you're walking on that border is you're able to hear the things of the enemy. The enemy is able to remind you of the things that you used to do. The enemy is able to remind you and when the enemy understands that he have your attention, that because first off, why are you close to that border anyway? Why are you playing with the enemy territory? Why are you putting yourself in a position to listen to what the enemy is saying, to watch what the enemy is doing? Why are you putting yourself in a position to be entertained? In other words, why are you trying to be entertained by things that God has separated from you, or the things that you say you have let go? Why are you so busy trying to be entertained by it? So you find yourself at that border, and you are able to hear. So the enemy began to send that man to you that used to give that, and all of a sudden you get that "Hey, big head" text. Okay, or you hear that friend that you have left alone, you've separated yourself from. God has separated you from that friend, but you keep hearing that friend, and that friend is calling your name again, and like, man, let's just go out. We ain't gotta go do certain things that we used to do. Let's just go out. Let's just go to a quick party, man. We ain't gonna be there long. And the moment you start entertaining that lets the enemy know that you're on the fence, you're on that border, and you can hear and you can see. You are focusing on the things that you used to do, the things that used to entertain you before you surrendered yourself to God. So the enemy began putting people back in your life. They give you that "Hey, big head" text, or the person in your life they give you that, man, let's just go out for a quick drink right quick. But before you know it, you have started entertaining these things again, and now you're thinking, okay, it's not that bad. It's okay. I can respond back. It's okay for me to respond back and just be polite. That's what we start saying. It's okay. I'm just gonna be polite, and you said "Hey, big head," and I'm just gonna send a message back like, "What you want?" Just kidding with the person or something. And now next thing you know, you find yourself going out for on a nice little friendly date with the person, just going to get some coffee. Next thing you know, you're back at that person's house. Next thing you know, you're in the bed with that person. Or when your friends come back, and you starting to see the enjoyment that they seem to be having. You starting to forget about how lost you really were. You starting to forget that these people are actually lost, because now you're focusing on the entertainment again, because you are in earshot. You're always waiting to entertain. You're listening to wait for them so that they can talk to you. You're listening to it again. You're watching the things that pulled you down the first time. Now you're back watching it again. I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna really do much with it. I'm just gonna watch this show. It ain't much to it. But then in this show, you start seeing women start to show up half clothed and stuff. They half naked. Now all of a sudden you starting to fantasize about it again. Now you're tipping back close to that borderline again. because you're starting to be entertained by what's on the opposite side. But here's the thing: instead of focusing on what's on the opposite side, focus on the magnificence of God, focus on the glory of God and what God is doing. No, that it might sound boring to people who wants to stay on that side. But when you start focusing on where God have brought you from, you start to realize, I don't even want to go back over there. Why am I even entertained? Why am I close to the border? Because God is not close to that borderline. God is standing back away from it because he's calling his people to come to him. But God give you the freedom that you can go over there if you want to. God give you the freedom to walk that border if you want to. But God also wait for it, but he's so gracious that even while you walking it, he's still standing with you. He's still listening and hoping and just waiting for you to turn back to him. He's still putting out hints and sending people to you to kind of remind you. That's why you're wondering, man, why all of a sudden these church videos starting to show up? Why all of a sudden these people starting to come back? Why all these churchy people starting to come back? Why am all of a sudden I'm starting to hear about God? Why am I all of a sudden having these dreams again? These dreams, all of a sudden I'm having dreams of somebody trying to touch on me, somebody trying to get close to me. All of a sudden you're having dreams. God is doing everything he can to pull you away from that border. But the problem is when you're so distracted and entertained by things of the world, instead of focusing on what God is doing, instead of focusing on the goodness of God, instead of focusing on the love of God and how much grace God have on your life, how much mercy he's showing you, instead of focusing on that, you start wondering, God, why are you making it so hard? Why I can't just go hang out for a minute? Why I gotta be so bored? It ain't that it's boring. It's because you don't want to focus on what God is doing. You don't want to focus on the joy that God is bringing into your life. You want to remember the things that you used to do. So you're hanging next to that border. You're able to hear every word that the enemy is saying. You're able to see everything that the world is doing because that is what your focus is on. So and now you're wondering, why am I backsliding? Why am I starting to feel anxiety again? Why am I starting to feel so stressed out again? Why can't I feel the peace? It's because you're focusing on what other people are doing. And then here's this. Then you start comparing what other people are doing over there. Not noticing. I'll give you an example. When they was building the Tower of Babel, they was looking to be closer to God, so they built a ziggurat to pull themselves up higher to God. They was looking to be famous. They was looking to all become one, and they could have accomplished it also, but they wanted to have all their fleshly desires. But do you realize that God actually turned around and told Abraham that I will multiply your children. I will give you descendants more than the stars in the sky. I will give you fame. I will give you all the financing things that you need. God started giving Abraham everything that those other people in the world was desiring. But the difference was they was desiring something for their own benefit, for their own flesh, and it was going to give glory to Satan regardless if they thought it was for Satan or not. They was going to glorify demonic things in their lives because they was doing it separate from God. But God turned around and gave Abraham the same stuff that they were searching for. God turned around and gave it to Abraham, the intimacy with the one and only true God. Abraham was intimate with God. Abraham had all the descendants that he could possibly think of. Abraham was very wealthy with livestock, with land, with servants. He was very wealthy with all the things that he needed, and God kept providing regardless of where he went. God provided, and then God provided for all of his descendants the same way that he provided for him. But the thing is, he received it because it was through God. It wasn't through him trying to do it all on his own, him thinking that he going to create this on his own. It was because he received it from God. So when you're close to that fence and you're close to that border and you're looking across at what the world is doing and you're wondering why they having so much fun and you're not, the reason why is because you're not looking at the glory of God. You're not looking at what God has given you. Instead, you're only focusing the same way Lot's wife did. You're only focusing on things that's on the other side that's no longer meant for you. God has delivered you from certain things, but if all you're going to focus on is that particular thing, then that's all you're going to see, and that's all you're going to wish for. So if you're finding yourself backsliding, if you're finding yourself struggling with God again, go back and ask yourself, have I started putting myself on that border again, where I'm allowing the enemy to talk to me again? I'm allowing myself to see things of the world. What am I doing? What doors am I opening? What spiritual doors and spiritual portals am I opening that's causing me to feel this way again? And then sometimes you just have to go and ask God, I need you to show me what it is in my life that has caused me to even desire these things. What is it in my life that I came in contact with? Because a lot of times you thinking that you just want to be a player. You thinking that you just desiring women, but the fact is your mother may have left you, or someone in your family may have said something against you, and it brought you down. It discouraged you. It made you feel less than who God called you to be. So now you're seeking that validation, and every time a woman come up to you and they start validating you, you start drawing near to that person. Every time a man come up to you and he compliments you, you start drawing near to that man because you're seeking after something. But you can find all of that in God. But the thing is, you have to surrender it to God and just acknowledge that you can't do it on your own. I can't change who I am, God. This is my flesh. This is my desire. There is something broken. There is something hurting in me, God. So I need you, Father, to change the things that's broken in me. This is why so many people keep saying that they're looking for something. So they're turning to all these different drugs and alcohol. They turn into all the cussing. They're turning to pornography. They're turning to all these things. And it's only drawing them farther away from God. But that is the same as saying, God, I'm going to walk this border right here, God. I'm going to call your name. I'm going to thank you, God. But I'm going to walk this border so that I can be close to what my heart, to what my flesh is desiring. But the problem with that is you find yourself, instead of just thinking that, okay, I got it under control, the enemy will keep telling you, oh, you got it under control, man. It's no big deal. You know, all you're doing is you're just going out to a quick party with some of your homies. It ain't no big deal to that. So the enemy will start telling you, man, go out, have some fun one night. It's just one night. It's just one time. But then you find yourself farther and farther and farther away from God. And now you're back into anxiety. You're back into stress. But then you start blaming God and telling God, I'm calling on you. Why you not showing up? Why you not doing this? Why you not doing that for me, God? Why you not helping me? You helping them. I hear they testimonies, God. Why you not helping me, Father? But God is looking at you and trying to remind you over and over because you are walking that border. No, I haven't even allowed you to go across there. But God will eventually tell you, you got a decision to make. You're either going to stay over here with me and remove yourself from that border and come draw near me, or I'm going to hand you over. And since your desires is with them, I'm going to hand you over that you can go there. And then you find yourself, that's when you really go back into depression. You really go back into anxiety, and the things that you used to feel, now it's 7 times worse because you've allowed 7 times the demons to come back into you. Now it used to be just rejection, but now it's the spirit of orphanage. Now it's just all these different demonic spirits and presence that's starting to annoy you. They're starting to dwell in you again. And now you're farther and farther away, and now you don't even want to hear about God no more. Now you don't even want to talk about God no more. Now you don't even want to think about God. You don't even want the words to come out your mouth to even sound like God no more, because you've pushed yourself so far. And so far. But the thing about it is, most people, when they standing on the border, they're on the fence for God, and they're saying, okay, I just walk this borderline. When they cross that border and God hand them over to the enemy again, when God hand them back over to their desires, to their flesh, they go so deep They don't stay by that border to look and see what God is doing. They go so deep into depression. They go so deep into smoking, into drinking, into cussing, into sexual activities, and all these different things. They go so deep into it. And now you're wondering why. Why is my life so messed up? So I'm making this video. Anybody sitting on the border right now, anybody on the fence, anybody right now, that is a dangerous place to be, because I'm telling you, God's presence is all around us. But God is not going to stay at that border all the time. God will send his angels. He will send his people to try to remind you, to pull you away from it. But the same thing with Saul. No matter how much God tried to get in touch with, tried to bring Saul closer to him, Saul went deeper and deeper till he started going to try to find a medium. The same people he rejected, the same people he rebuked, he went to find the medium, because he crossed so deep over into the enemy territory that he forgot all about God. But then we go look at the other Saul, the Saul in the New Testament, the one who became Paul. And then we look at how he was on the fence. He was always thinking that, okay, I believe in God, but Jesus, I don't. You ain't the one. You didn't come back as I expected you to come back. So you can't be the right one. So I'm gonna kill everybody who talk about you. But when God got in contact with him, when Jesus spoke to him on his way to Damascus to take out even more Christians, when he was on his way to Damascus, at that moment, Paul was on the fence. Well, at that moment, Saul was on the fence. He was on that border. But he decided, okay, God, I'm turning to you. I'm surrendering to you, Jesus. I'm sorry. And he repented. That is a key thing. He repented of the things that he did. Okay, that means, and then not only that, he had to forgive and he had to accept forgiveness. Now, he could have looked at himself and said, I don't deserve it, because that's what the enemy tells you. You don't deserve it. So he could have thought to himself, I don't deserve it. But instead, he said, no, God, it doesn't matter if they forgive me. God, if you forgive me, then I will serve you, God. I'm going to serve you. And that's what Paul ended up doing. So get off that fence. Get off that border. So walk away from that and draw near to God. And let God begin to change you. Stop trying to change yourself. You can't do it. Stop trying to change yourself. Okay, surrender it to God. We surrender when we give our life over to Jesus Christ. You surrendered your soul. Your soul is saved. But a lot of times they talk about lukewarm Christian, because there are lukewarm Christians. And those are the ones who stay near that border all the time. Those are the ones who's always on the fence, seeking and desiring their old fleshly ways and stuff. So get away from that fence. Pull yourself away by drawing near to God. Don't go into worshiping. Don't go into serving. Don't go into doing things as an act, but go into doing it through love. And you will find yourself getting closer and closer to God. All you have to do is surrender and say, God, look, I'm reading this. I surrender my reading to you. I surrender my talk, my thinking, my ways, my speech, everything, God. I surrender it to you. The gifts that you have given me, God, I surrender it to you. The compliments that I receive, I surrender it to you. Surrender it all back to God. So because you cannot handle it on your own. Because then you become prideful trying to hold on to stuff that you can't handle. You can't handle all of the pressure of people coming to you and trying to give you so much praise. People we ain't meant to carry that. We can't hold on to that. It creates pride, and we start thinking that we are the ones able to do it, that this is about us. No, you can't hold on to it. Surrender everything to Jesus Christ and let him take care of it. And that's all I got to say, man. I hope this video blessed y'all. If you liked the video and if you stuck around this long, please like the video, share the video, comment, and tell me what you think about the video so we can all keep growing, that this channel can keep growing. Other than that, man, y'all be blessed. Take it easy.